Hello, everybody.
Hello.
Yes.
Hello.
Welcome. I forgot to tell you that I had originally, when I went in here, I had it scheduled for 6:30, and I said, that's not the right time. So thank you for all. Actually, I was glad I got here early so that I could fix it. But anyway,
There you
welcome,
go.
everybody. Yeah, welcome.
Yes.
You're fine. It's
yeah,
good.
I would love to welcome my sisters here today. I'm wearing my sister shirt, and we have Sherry, Voices from the Swamp. Welcome, Sherry.
You forgot to
and
wear
Marina,
her
Heart.
No, I forgot to wear
So
mine.
much. I know, it's okay. We are welcoming back Val. I think she comes back next week. So just
Yes,
so
she
you know,
does.
nobody's heard from her. So I think she's having a beautiful time. So there you go.
I did hear from her one time when they were in Scotland, and she said they were having a great time.
Oh, good. It's always
Yeah.
nice to go away and not
And
feel
I
like
heard
you
back from her for the Halloween party I'm throwing. She sent me a quick message that says, I'll be back. I'll be there. See you soon. And that was it. I was
Oh,
like,
Yes.
all right.
There
awesome.
you go.
Awesome. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I want to welcome everybody. Bern is waiting for the hurricane. So is Barbara, teacher Barbara. And I'm sorry to hear that your roof of your house has blown off already.
Disappeared.
I hope everybody's safe. I hope you're okay. I hope your husband's all right. Just sending you lots of love. Yeah, it is bad news. It is. We're sending you love, Barb. Wrapping our love around you. So welcome, Bern and Denise Fletcher. Yeah. Go ahead.
I just had another video pop in of the eye wall hitting on land, somebody walking around like an idiot,
of course,
shooting video. Holy crap.
Yeah. Well, and why do they send? I know that we'd like to know what's going on, but when they send these news people in, or and they're standing there like this, to me, that's just totally stupid.
It is.
Well, it is because other people think they can do it, and so you get all of these wannabe weather chasers. Yeah, you get all of these wannabe weathermen that are out there. Trying to copy them, and
that's true. Yeah, and I had seen yesterday the NOAA had flown into the hurricane just to and also
they have their hurricane their hurricane plane, but it's specially designed for those winds. They said the weirdest thing about this was that there was a flock of birds that was trapped inside the eye wall of the hurricane, that at whatever point they managed to somehow fly in before it got too strong. And now they were stuck. They couldn't get out because they couldn't survive the winds of the eyeballs. They were stuck.
Oh my God.
Hi, Carl.
It was like all I kept thinking about was those poor birds. Oh my God.
I know. You know that happens too on a regular plane when a bird sometimes goes into the engine, and there's all kinds of problems from that. I know. So hopefully those birds are taking a ride.
That happened to Captain Sully on Hudson several years back, when a whole flock of, what did they say, the Canadian geese, which are bigger than normal size geese. Went into
we love watching them.
Flew into
honking over
both engines and took out both engines,
Yes.
Thank God he was he was well practiced and trained for flying for so many years that he was able to land on the Hudson River. I mean, that was unheard of. Up until that point, no one had ever survived a water landing.
Right.
Nobody died.
I'm just saying hi to everybody as you're talking, so that they welcome everybody. Oh, the back porch is, and Richard is still there. Yeah, I know. And they don't want it. I'm sure they don't want him to call the police because they said they weren't going to go out and help people if they stayed home.
Well, they can't. I mean, it gets to a certain point when the first responder, they pause.
They aren't allowed there.
They won't let their responders to leave.
Yeah, I can't.
Just like I know like I was talking about back Hurricane Camille in 1969. We had just moved to Florida. I was 8 years old. My late husband, whom I didn't know at the time, was a teenager living in Pascagoula, Mississippi, right where the eye of the hurricane went. And they were in a shelter. They had managed to get all their people to the shelter, and his family. And he and one of the other boys decided they were going to sneak out the back door for a cigarette. And it took them like forever to get the door open. And when it opened, they couldn't get it closed again. The winds were so strong.
Yeah.
Nearly sucked them out and blew them away.
Yeah, it does.
They were like, yeah, that's a real smart thing to do.
So everybody, I just wanted you all to know that we appreciate you being here, and thank you so much for, and of course we are, and I know that Kukron did a meditation about an hour ago. I think you can go on and still watch it, and
yeah,
and
it's in replay, so they can go
so
in
and watch it and
pull it up and
go into it and send your own good juju to everybody. We certainly and Anya Ashdown, God bless you, girl. She got her electricity back today. She's out of Asheville, near, and it's been gone since, I don't know, the 28th, the 29th. Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. So she said her neighbors and herself.
It looks like it's making landfall right now.
Yeah.
I'm looking at the weather map, and it looks like it's the eye wall is there.
And Barbara, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it, Barbara. Don't. You'll get back to whatever regimen you were doing, and you'll be okay. You just need to do what you feel is right.
You'll be fine.
That's right. That's right.
You file with FEMA, and they come put a new roof on your house. I mean, you know.
Yep. And Jupiter went retrograde, so the property damage is not going to be pretty. But we knew that. We did know that. Yeah. And so unfortunately, one of the really hard parts of living in Florida, Louisiana, anywhere on the coast, stuff like this happens. And
we grew up with
I couldn't. Yeah, but you know what? Other parts of the country,
except for the 10 years that I was in Phoenix, I have lived on the Gulf Coast my entire life. I mean, it's just much like Californians are so used to earthquakes that they just kind of roll with it when it happens. And it's like, I would freak out totally. Or people in the Midwest with tornadoes. I mean, they hear the siren, man, they're lickety split. They know what to do and where to go. I would be totally lost.
Right.
That's
well, I saw something on the news or that really upset me, but somebody took care of it. Somebody left their pitty tied to a pole on the side of the road, and they went in and picked up the dog, and they have it. But people like that are disgusting. They make me want to scream. And today our topic is pets. And this sort of the spirituality of them. They're all angels with fur is what they are.
Exactly.
And so, the dog's safe now. That's right. Thank God someone
posted
saw it.
Something on Facebook day before yesterday. I posted something on Facebook about the storm. And I said, for goodness sakes, if you can bring your pets with you, load them up and bring them with you. If you can't bring your pets with you, then for God's sakes, don't tie them down. Don't lock them in a room or a cage. Right. Let them be free so that they can survive and take care of themselves. They will go to high ground.
I'm reminded of Hurricane Katrina, where they were finding animals that were sitting tied up. Oh my God. Yeah. It's really hard.
Because people just didn't think about it. They thought, well, I don't want my dog to get lost or get in the way or whatever. And so they tie him up.
Shouldn't have one then. Shouldn't have a dog. Shouldn't have a cat.
And it's like, that you can't. Yeah. How would you feel if you were chained to a wall somewhere and the water's coming up? You can't get away. I mean, well, a lot of people in Katrina went through that when they had to try to slice through their roof to get out of the water. But
Rose Blue, you want to post about October 15th weather? I don't know what, if you want to put it there, that's fine. We can look at it. I don't know what you mean though. That's kind of like next week, right? So,
Yeah,
sure.
next Tuesday.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know that if I had to leave the house on a moment's notice, the animals are coming in the car first.
Yes.
Just,
yes. Their
Without a
food,
doubt.
Animals,
and their collar and leash and the animals, maybe even their bed. I don't care.
Yes.
You know, I want my animals with me. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Exactly.
Oh, I didn't know this.
They,
There's a cold front. That's right. Somebody said that next week, these people won't be in, a lot of people will not be in a house, and there's a cold front coming down from Canada.
Like a
and going to Florida.
massive cold front.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's supposed to come all the way down the Gulf, all the way hit all of us.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, won't that be fun?
Yeah. So we need to pray for that too, because if there are people that are going to be sort of camping out,
well, that's what happened with Hurricane
it,
Sandy. It went up the Atlantic coast,
Yep.
and it hit parts of New Jersey and New York,
Yeah.
and wiped out people's homes. And it was like end of October, starting into November, when the weather's cold up there. I mean, people were not only dealing with their house, if it was still standing, being full of water and sand, but they had no electricity to heat or anything else.
Well, the other thing is there are places that if you check early enough, you know, and thank God we have NOAA. We've known this for a couple of days. If you check early enough, there's places you can leave your animals. And Barbara, I noticed, put up that in Picayune, Mississippi, there's like, was a 20-acre place you could bring your horses, your camels, whatever you emus, I don't know.
Whatever you got,
Yeah. So, but I know how hard it is. I've seen the lines of people trying to leave. It's horrendous. So awful. I'm sorry that
it's awful.
Yeah, that's the worst part.
And then, the other thing to remember too is that there are, excuse me, there are some people who are not able to leave. They want to leave. They want to be out there.
Right.
But they've lost their vehicles in the previous storm. Or
they couldn't afford one to begin with.
Or they couldn't afford one to begin with. So there's those people. I feel badly for them. Yeah,
that's what happened to Katrina in New Orleans.
Yes, it did.
Was that it hit the weekend before people got their Social Security and retirement checks.
Yeah, and it hit the area where there was a lot of poor
money
people.
to take a bus, no money to put gas in the car to go somewhere else. They literally were stuck at home with no way out. And when you get to that point, you're like, well, I'm just going to ride it out the best I can. I mean,
all you can
God knows I've been through enough of them that we couldn't afford to leave. We didn't have the means. And we just did the best we could. We were always lucky, but I'm telling you, if not anymore. I'm too
So
old.
I want to say hi to Wayne Ridge and Rose Blue and Diamond and Arlene and G-Pass. Yeah, hi everybody. Thanks for being here with us today.
Absolutely.
And focusing our energy, of course. Focusing our energy on the best outcome, the best possible beneficial outcome for anybody in harm's way. So yes, we have your back. We just like we did for Helene and those who were suffering from that. And anyway, thank you so much. It's really wonderful. Hi, everybody.
And it helps. We've got there are power crews from around the country, from Canada, whatnot, that are sending teams east to help people restore power and everything. You've got groups like the Cajun Navy and other groups that have their own boats, and they've all been through training. And the first year they tried doing it, they were kind of told to go home, but since then they've all taken like courses and stuff of how to rescue safely and properly. And so now they don't usually run into any problems with it. They show up and do what they do. And hey, Clarence. And
Yeah.
So we're going to talk a little bit. It's my turn to choose the topic this week. And so, I picked pets. And the reason I did was because so many of us have either had a pet, have pets, know people with pets, love pets, whatever it is.
Overrun by pets.
I have a couple of really interesting stories to tell about some pets in my life. And I'm sure these lovely ladies do too. I think that once you have a pet, whether, even if it's just if it's a gerbil or something, I mean, I'm not saying you have to have, I think once you have one, you feel like you need to have one. At least that's how I've felt in the past. And a lot of people that I know that never wanted a dog or a cat and then were sort of found by the cat or dog. There are a lot, they grab you by the heartstrings, and so you're kind of made to be there for them. But as much as we love them, they love us. They don't like us to leave. They get up. Mine scold me when I get home, even if I just go to the corner and come back. So they're just wonderful. And we also have a lot of shows where we've had pet readers, Mark and a few others that come on and read on the pets. And so I know there's a whole group of people that absolutely love their animals. So I'm going to start out with just a little story, and it wasn't even my pet, but it's an interesting story. My friend Lori, who I spent summers with up until recently, she had a little dachshund named Buddy, and he had ended up with dementia, unfortunately. But the year that I was there, she and I were going to see a psychic. So the same year, my friend Charles, who was a colleague of mine, passed away, and I called him Buddy. I said, I would always say, "How you doing, Buddy? How you doing?" So I go to my friend's house, and her dog is there, and he's acting not weird, but just really different. And when I go to the psychic, she says, "Your friend Charles is coming through. He wants to tell you something very important." And he said, he found out that you were right about everything on the other side, but also that he can go inside a dog. And that he was in Buddy. And he kept saying Buddy. And the psychic said this to me, and I'm like, oh my God. Well, Charles was one of these real staunch Latin and Greek classical professors and very Roman Catholic. And he always would say Christ willing and everything. And he knew I was Buddhist, and I would tell him what I thought about things, and he'd go, "Oh, Buddha willing, he'd make fun of me." Well, he found out that I was right.
Yes, absolutely. My gosh. That is fabulous.
I know. It sounds like my late husband, who didn't believe in any of this until he got to the other side.
It's like, right.
Now he's come across and has left me messages like, "Okay, you weren't lying."
Absolutely. And yes, Clarence, animals can get dementia. As a matter of fact, beautiful seascape. Her little dog, Sydney, ended up just passing a couple of weeks ago, and she died. She had dementia. So what happens with them is that they go into a corner a lot of the time, and they don't know how to get out of the corner. It's very sad. It's very sad. But he had an injury. This dog had an injury. He fell and hurt his back, and ever since then he had dementia. So, but I think that the Buddy connection really blew me away, because I called, and anyway.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. That
and that was my late husband's nickname with his family was Buddy. All his brothers and sisters called him Buddy.
Okay.
My late husband.
Not Turtle?
That was his nickname. No, that was just friends in my side of the family. His family all called him Buddy.
Buddy and Buddha. There you go. Yeah. So, Marina, I mean, you may not be able to top that, and I don't expect you to, but I wonder if you can give us some little stories about your pets when you were younger or now or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, when I was growing up, we really didn't have pets. You know, that my dad had a hunting dog for a while. And I mean, he was just a fabulous, fabulous dog, but nothing, nothing overly spiritual. However, I always preferred dogs to cats until we had a cat that came in and took over my life. Okay. Chose me, and that was it. It's like love. You can fight it all you want, but in the end, you're going to give in to me. And this guy, he has literally saved my life a couple times because I'm diabetic. And there are times when my sugars would get really low at night. And I mean, I'm sleeping, so I'm not aware of anything. And he would come in wherever I was, and he would bite my fingers. He would scratch me. He would do whatever he could to make sure that I was awake and awake enough to note that, something's not right. And I checked my numbers, and sure enough, they were really, really low. And as soon as I could get something into apple juice, something into me to kind of raise it up, he'd leave. And he's done that more than once. So yeah, he's my little lifesaver.
Yeah.
So
isn't that sweet? Oh my goodness. Now, did you go physically get the cat yourself, or did the cat come into your life from being a stray, or when you got the
cat? No. My son actually picked the cat.
Oh, okay.
He picked him up. Yeah, we'd had a cat who passed away, so we were looking to get another one. And there was one in particular that I was looking at that I really liked. And Chris said, no, this one, this one is calling to me. And he got him home. He loves Chris, but he looks out for me. He comes in and he will, he likes to lick my arm in the morning just to make sure that I'm okay. And it's not, like obsessive licking is like, no, this is almost like I'm testing. Yeah, you're okay today. My job here is done. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Jane says the cat distribution system for real. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's
absolutely, Jane.
Yeah. What a great. So when I was on today with Debbie Dement, she does a lot of healing, and she was saying two things that really I never realized but make a lot of sense. Cats are more mystical and higher power, and dogs ground us. So we actually need both.
Yes. Yes, absolutely. Hey, Sylvia. Hi, Ness. Hey, wait.
Hi, Sylvia. Hi, Ness.
Yeah, I know with the dog, she's always glad to see me, and she's just a lovely, lovely dog. And we have two cats, and the cats are a little more aloof. When I tell the dog to stop doing something, she looks at me like, oh, okay. When I tell the cats to stop doing something, the tail goes up, and it's that universal, that like, I'll get back to you. So,
that's funny. That's really funny. That's great. Yeah. Thank you so much. I love that story.
Hey,
Sherry, what do you got to tell us? I know you have both, don't you?
Dogs and cats? We have two dogs and a cat. My brother's dog, my son's dog, that's the little dorky. And the cat, which found us when she was barely weaned off of her mother. I mean, she just showed up one day. I actually had a reading from Mark to ask him where did this cat come from, and why did he's like, well, she says she's been waiting for you to find her, and when you didn't show up, she had to go looking for you. I was like, okay. And my brother found her underneath the car just before a big storm hit, and we brought her in and tried to find who her owners were, but nobody claimed her. And after about 3 days, he came home from work with a litter box and all the stuff to go with it. And I was like, oh, I guess we're keeping the cat.
Yes.
Oh, we also have a gecko too while I'm at it. Now, I mean, I grew up with animals. We always had dogs mostly. There were like barn cats that, that hung out in the barn, kill the rats and stuff, because my grandfather had horses. And so there was a good space of time when my mornings began at like 4 a.m. in high school to go out, deal with the horses and stuff.
Right. Yeah, you
and
had a
then
horse.
I would go in and take a shower and go to school.
Right.
So, I mean, we always, there was always a dog or barn cats or something like that around. And I didn't have anything against cats. I just never really owned a cat, like an indoor cat.
I haven't either. Yeah, I haven't had one.
About a month after my husband died, my aunt got called out on another job. She would travel for her work. She did mortgage underwriting. And she couldn't take the cat with her. She had found Scuffy, the cat that I wound up with. He another one that got dumped by his mother, abandoned. And I mean, she bottle fed him in the beginning. And he wasn't quite a year old, and she brought him to me and she said, here, you're going to need something to hug. And she gave me her cat, so I had this cat, didn't know what to do with him. And wound up hauling him back and forth across the country with me a couple of times when I had moved to Arizona. And he was definitely my cat. He would meow. He would, Ma, 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 Ma. He would say, I mean, everybody that heard him would like, is he saying mama? And I'd be like, yeah, yes. But I went through a phase. I was trying to lose weight, and I couldn't lose weight. I was trying to stop smoking, and I couldn't stop smoking. And the doctors put me on this pill, this magic pill. It's supposed to take care of both. Chantel, Shantex, and something like that. It's an antidepressant is what it is. And it didn't just cause nightmares in me. It caused night terrors. I mean, I would wake up screaming at the top of my lungs with no memory of what the dream was. Well, Lewis had come home on leave, and it was like his second night there, and he woke up in the middle of the night, and he could hear me hollering in the bedroom and sounded like crying. He thought somebody had broken into the apartment. And he goes running in the bedroom, and I'm in the middle of this nightmare. And he said, and there was my cat standing next to me, headbutting me, trying to wake me up. He would headbutt me and meow and headbutt me. And he was doing it, and it took my son to wake me up out of it. But he was like, Scuffy never lets your side. He was like right there, trying to get you to come out of that nightmare. He knew you were dreaming.
That's amazing.
And
both of you kind of had this similar experience. Yeah. Wow.
I had him for 15 years. Yeah, he was 16 when he finally passed. And it was difficult. It really was, because man, he became my baby through and through.
Oh, sure. No, I know. When people lose their pets, it's like losing a spouse or a child. I mean, that doesn't sound like that's right, but it really is.
But
they're
it
always
really is. Yeah.
it's
No,
really
I mean,
tough. Yeah, it is.
It was hard. I mean, and my mom was, into full-blown dementia then, and she was very attached to the cat.
Sure. Yeah.
So it greatly upset her and kind of threw her off whack for a while.
Yeah.
And, all and he wasn't like a lovey-dovey cat. He would, every now and again, if he wanted a cuddle, he'd come get next to you. But other than that, he pretty much just ignored you. When he would get pissed off at me, he would wait till I'd get home or something, and he'd look me dead in the eye, and then he would literally turn his back up to me and flip his tail up in the universal sign and walk away. And I'd be like, yeah. And
Well, I do.
by that night, he was back in the bed he slept on my
Yes.
feet at night.
Yeah.
He would get in the
Yeah.
bed and sleep on my feet. And to
Yes.
this day, there are times when I'm just starting to fall asleep and I literally
feel
can
'em?
feel the
On
bed
your
Yes.
feet? Yeah.
press
Yeah. I
and
do
feel
think
his
they're
head.
around. I really
He was a
do.
big
Yes.
20
Yeah.
pounder. He was a big 20 plus
Mhm.
pound cat, great
Mhm.
big cat. And there are times when I feel him jump on the bed and I
Was
feel
he
his
a Maine
weight.
Coon? A Maine Coon cat?
No, he was just a
Okay. He
domestic
was just a
short
big
hair,
guy. Okay.
but he was just a big cat.
Yeah.
And but
Yes.
yeah, I'll feel the bed depress from him
Yep.
jumping up on the
Uh-huh.
bed, and I'll feel him on my feet.
They are.
And
Yep.
he'll
Yep.
lay there
They
for the longest, and
definitely are
then
part of
the
the
feeling goes away.
Yeah.
So,
Yes.
Sure.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
They are our teachers in so many ways.
oh yeah,
Because, yeah, animals show compassion without expecting anything back in return. They just
Right.
take care of you. They love you. You know, it doesn't matter how much you might mistreat them. They always
yeah,
come
I
back
know.
and all
Unfortunately.
is forgiven. Yes, unfortunately. Yeah.
Mhm.
But they're
yeah,
a very good reminder that, you know, sometimes you don't know what the other person is going through, and maybe they're being a little ridiculous right now at the moment.
Yeah.
But yeah, they are. They
They are.
teach us
oh yeah.
unconditional love,
Well, I
patience.
know
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
Dorky, our little Dachshund Yorkshire mix. That's my son's dog. It was actually belonged to one of his past girlfriends.
Hmm.
And she came and stayed with us for a while after her mother passed away. And because she was almost 10 years younger than Lewis was. So, she was just barely up into her 20s and suddenly on her own. And she shows up with a dog, and we're like, yeah, okay, that's cool. We like dogs.
Yeah.
And he decided from the get-go that Lewis was his person. And she lived
They do
with him
that.
for
Yeah.
several years. And then when they decided that the relationship wasn't going to work, boyfriend, girlfriend, or any more serious, it was just friends.
Mhm.
And she decided to go up north to where an aunt lived to go to school. And when she got ready to leave, she looked at us. She said, I can't take him away from y'all. He is so attached to Lewis. I can't
Mhm.
remove him.
Well, that's
And
really
he'd stay
wonderful
with
that she
you.
felt that way. Yeah.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
she'd had him since he was a puppy.
Sure.
And
Yeah.
and she was like, Can he stay with y'all? And we were like, well, absolutely.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
so yeah, when Lewis isn't
What's his
home,
name? What's his name?
Cain.
Cain.
Yeah.
Oh, Cain.
Kain.
Yeah.
We call him Mr. Cain or
Oh,
Caney Bear.
Mr. Cain.
I call him Caney Bear a lot, but
Yeah.
my
That's
son's not
nice.
home,
That's
so
nice.
he's like
Uh-huh.
10 feet
So
away
he's
from me
right there
right
with you.
now on his
Yeah.
little blanket
Bye, Clarence.
under the
Bye.
table. Yeah,
Bye,
right next to
Clarence.
me. And the
Yeah.
cat's asleep on
So,
the other blanket on the bed. So
sure.
the minute Lewis
So
gets home,
Chris
they
says,
both go in there.
yeah. Chris says she sends her pets to her mom on the other side. She'll take care of them. My dad takes care of all of mine. As a matter of fact, Medium Kim once said to me, your father is saying, I've got all the dogs. And I mean, there's a whole bunch of them, So
Yeah.
I thought that was great. That was awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we
That's
do have a couple
awesome.
of people. Rose Blue says her former cat Blackie was an outside cat, slept inside in the winter. I used to take 2 Benadryl to sleep. He'd jump on my chest twice to make me wake up and let him out in the morning. Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
Yep.
And Chris Queen says one of our cats rode home somewhere under my truck 15 miles from Costco. Oh my God. Thought my mom was sending them. Val said it was really miles from Costco. Really something from Costco. Okay. I just saw today that there was a dog in Florida that was fairly small, and it was hit by a car, but not fast, and it's stuck in the grill. It's alive.
Oh my
But they had to find a way to get it out. Yeah, I mean, it was okay.
Yeah.
But it went through these little tiny I don't know how it even ended up in the grill, but thank God they were getting it out. And my friend's mother, one day she was going down to the grocery store and she's driving her car and people keep tooting and pointing to the roof of her car, pointing. And she's like, what? She gets to the store and the cat is on the roof holding on. I thought, oh my God.
That's hilarious.
I know it is hilarious.
When
I'm glad it didn't get hurt. Yeah.
When I was 5, when my mom was married to my brother's dad, and he was a police officer, and he would come home at lunch in his unit, his black and white, for lunch. And so my mom would like cook this hot meal for him for lunch every day, which I know she hated to do because she hated to do domestic crap. But anyway, he was she needed to take me somewhere downtown or something that afternoon, and my mother didn't drive. So he was like, well, that's no problem. We'll just go in the cruiser and I'll drop you off on the way back to the office and take the bus home. And so we all pile into the car and he starts the car and it's like this weird sound. And it was like stuff was splattering on the windshield. And we were like, what the hell? A neighbor's cat had crawled up inside the engine of the cruiser because it was cool to get warm. And when he started the car, it got sucked into the fan blade and chopped up. And
I know.
I've
heard those stories. Those are horrendous.
Everywhere. And
I know.
I remember my mother trying to cover my eyes so I wouldn't see it because she knew how I felt about animals, you know. And but yeah, that was kind of
that's
gross.
awful. Oh, sorry to hear that.
Yeah.
I got a couple more, and then we're going to do some. We have some questions from from our community pages to do. So I want to make sure we get to those. But Dawn says her horses Sunny, Jess, Nisto, and Country are all gone. I never thought to ask about them. And her pup Foxy and Sheena are over the Rainbow Bridge.
Yeah,
there's something about that makes me feel good though. This, like, I know they're going to be there when I get there.
Yes.
You know, that's makes me happy.
Yeah.
Well, there have been people, NDEs, you know, near death experience.
They see them.
Who have said that they've seen the pets waiting for people to cross, you know, and when they were there. And so it's like, oh, that's awesome. You know, it's kind of confirmation that they're there waiting for us. You know?
So Diamond, your two cats were outside, both get along, but some cat fight broke out. Don't know. Oh, a strange cat. Yeah. Now the one cat growls at the other cat. They must have gotten into it and tasted blood. That's what they say. Sometimes that can happen. And sorry to hear that. Liz, you felt Poncho for years jumping on your bed. 22-pound orange tiger tabby cat. You know, they don't leave. You can feel that sort of a movement on the bed. You really can.
Yeah, he's still here.
Yeah. And my daughter got a home in Joplin, Monroe, a tiny chip. Just before I was hurt and after I got home, I went through trauma-induced narcolepsy. She refused to go with my kid and followed me and would wake you. See, they know. It's like they know I got to stay with this person. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, thank you.
I remember years and years ago when I lived in Nova Scotia, we were fairly close to my ex-husband's aunt and uncle, and both of them were animal lovers. And she worked at the part-time at the local vet hospital and what. Anyway, he became later in life. He became really, really sick. Seemed to recuperate and so on. And during that recuperation period, we had an opportunity to go to Mexico. So we're going to Mexico, but I've got two of these little dogs. And so we asked Jim and Shirley if they could take care of the dogs. And of course they said yes. And I knew that they'd be in good hands. Well, yeah, 2 weeks later, we're back. And so I call Jim and Cheryl. Hey, how are the dogs doing? And she starts laughing. She said, I don't know anything about any little white dog. And I don't know anything about any little black dog. I don't know what kind of dog you're talking about. So I'm laughing, saying, yeah. Well, we had made arrangements to go get them the next day. And overnight, Jim took a turn for the worse and ended up in hospital. So going over, looking at the dogs, and the one dog, her name was Muffy, and she was just this adorable, cute little white fluffy thing. And she would not get anywhere near us. She just kept kind of, running away. So it was like, okay, well, we'll take the one dog. This one needed to stay. That dog, when Jim got home, he passed away at home. That dog was by his side. She did not leave his side to go eat, to go outside, nothing. She was there, never made a sound until he passed away. And then it was just the most gut-wrenching howl that came out of that
Oh my goodness.
Goosebumps just thinking about it.
Yeah.
So she determined he needed her more than we did. And and so after he passed away, there was no way that I was going to take that dog away from Shirley. I mean, no.
Yeah, absolutely not. No.
Well, that was like with my Scuffy. We'd had him not even a full year, and my son got a little terrier who got out of the fence and got hit by a car and killed. And the neighborhood kids are the ones who came and told me the puppy got out. He's in the road. And so I ran and got him, and I'm soaked in blood, right, running him back to the house. And that cat refused to eat for weeks. Every time he would find one of the puppy's toys, he'd bring it to me and cry. And he'd walk around and he'd
they
look
do
under
feel
the
it.
stuff
They do feel it
and cry. And it got to the point I got worried because he wouldn't eat. And I took him to the vet. The vet said he's mourning. I'm like, I didn't know they did that. It's been over 2 weeks. He said, it could last a lot longer. And so I was like, oh, okay. But, once he told me that, it was like, that makes sense. But until that moment, I didn't realize they
one of my dogs passed, and we were showing a video, and my dog was on it, and my other dog tried to get around the back of my television because he thought she was there. So they do. They mourn. They know. They really do. I think it's
like there's stories of dogs that refuse to leave a gravesite that their owners are buried because they know that's where they're buried and they won't leave. It's really hard.
And I like to see people have their animals if they're in the hospital and they're, they're going to pass. They should be able to be there with their person.
Absolutely.
So I hate to cut it short, but we got to do these questions. And so we have 3 questions that were put on the community board. Everybody, please know that we don't take questions on this show. We get them off the community board. So I was a bad girl. I didn't put up a post, but Marina did, and so did Sherry, and we got the questions from them this week. So thank you for the questions. So Maureen wants to know, is Trump going to be able to make it to the election? I just have a bad feeling about it. All right.
Well, he wants to.
Look what I pulled.
He wants a lot of things.
Yeah.
I feel he's going to try to escape, especially now that Bob Woodward has said that he's called Trump 21 times. Trump has called Putin, and he brought the COVID tests over or sent them over to Putin. I think that he and Putin are going to, anyway.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, I think that the truth, the truth is coming out. You know what? I get the fool. He wants to be there. I don't know if he is actually going to make it there. it could very well be, and I also got the Magician. It could very well be that maybe we don't hear an awful lot from him up until the election. From now until the election, it's just quiet, and that's his team keeping him medicated, entertainment purposes only. What do I know? And kind of out of the spotlight, because so many things are coming out. So much truth is coming out at the last minute. So, maybe that's what you're picking up on, Maureen.
Could be. Could be Maureen. Yeah. What'd you get, Sherry?
Well, I drew 3 quick. The King of Wands is the first thing I pulled, because that's how Trump sees himself, as a king. And then I pull the Hierophant, and that just kind of reinforces that feeling that he's the one that's going to be in charge. He's the one that tells everybody what to do. But America's 2 of Cups. We've got a choice to make.
Yes.
You know, and unfortunately that choice is going to be dictatorship or democracy. And
correct.
I really think that I think he will make it until the election, and I feel like when he loses, he completely lets go and is gone. It's like when I've tried to do readings on him, he just disappears. It's like there's nothing there.
A lot of people are saying the same thing, that he's not
I don't
around.
know if that means mentally, if that means physically.
But, well, that's already evident. But
it's like he's just gone. So
he's gone. So along with that, then I'm going to put up song share, and then Dawn Turner will do yours next. Has Melania been planning her escape around election time? And all her recent last minute money grab? I think so. I do. You know, she wanted $250,000 to talk to CNN about her book.
Yes.
Oh my God!
And when they were challenged, support.
I'm getting. She needed to have the money for her support, of course. Sorry. Sorry. Yeah. What were you going to say, Marina?
What was I going to say about her? The 250,000, and so yes, when her publisher, whatever, was called on that decision, it was no, that went out by mistake. It never should have gone out, and so on. So it's just a way for her to make money. She needs to support herself. It is a bad world out there.
Well, so it is, and I really don't want to go nude anymore right now.
No, I don't. I really don't care. Do you? Yeah. No, it's a girl. That's all it is.
It is. That's the 2 of them are so much alike. We don't think they are, but they really are. Yes. That's why they got together.
Yes.
Yeah. Sherry, what you got,
well,
Sherry?
Her ex-best friend said that Trump really relied on her and her opinion when it came to making decisions, that they were a lot closer and a lot more alike than people realized. And I was like, I could see that. But I got a 6 of Pentacles. Yeah, she's scraping up every penny she can find. And then I pulled the 10 of Cups. But in this picture, it looks like the 2 people are like waving goodbye to the 10 of Cups. You know, like they're waving and the cups are leaving. And so she sees her money flying away from her because he's blowing it all, you know. And then the last one I got was the Devil. And I think we know who that is for.
Well, but the GoFundMe has $7 million in it. But nothing's been given to anybody in Helene or some of that. Wasn't that what it was for? To help people who were in Helene or whatever?
He started a GoFundMe to help the people from Helene.
And no, they are not going to see a penny of that money. That is going straight in his pocket. And Melania just needs to make sure that the money is there.
Because part of their rules is if they find out that you're either raising money falsely or that it's not going to the reason you say it needs to go to, they can keep it and give it back to the donors.
And look what Steve Bannon did. Steve Bannon did that with the wall funding. Remember? He just walked away and took all the money. He was trying to get money for the wall. Wow. I do want everybody to really, really realize that anything you see on Facebook or X or any of those things, a lot of those are Russian bots.
Yes.
And they are working to effectively piss us off at each other and divide us, and also to just keep bringing up all this negative stuff. And so even my own beautiful daughter really believes that we're sending money over to Israel and nobody here has any money left to give to people who need it. And I said, that's just not true. And it's easy to fall into that trap because we see it and we hear it over and over and over again. And that's what the MAGAs have done. So that's why it's so,
Absolutely.
Wow.
Years ago, back when Trump first got elected, when I first came across Malcolm Nance and, saw who he was showing up on Stephanie Miller's morning show and stuff. And I went and got his books that he wrote. He's written quite a few of them, but on the whole mess with this, I think he's got 5 books out on it now. And so each book I was reading was about 6 to 10 months after he released it. And it was just eerie how spot on he was on what was happening and what they were doing. But I think the biggest thing that a lot of people on both sides of the aisle don't realize is how deep-seated Putin's hatred is for America.
Yes.
This is a former case who rose up into the ranks, who managed to finagle his way in to the presidency under Gorbachev or whoever it was.
And that's what Trump is trying to do, just like him. Yeah.
Yes, Trump has been following his playbook. But from everything I read that Malcolm had written, and then since then other books that I've read, that his hatred for America, for Americans, for our way of life, for our democracy, is he hates on a level that most of us can't comprehend.
Yeah.
And
that's why he kills people real easily.
Yeah, right. His whole purpose in life is to do us in and make this country fall. And if he can put in his own little rubber doll to do it, then by golly, that's what he's going to do. And he'll unalive as many people as he can get away with to try to accomplish that.
All right. So we got one more, but it's a multi-question. So, and it's in 2 parts. So it is from Dawn Turner, and she's asking about the US DOJ and also Canada. And there's another question. There's 3 questions here. So we'll take each one individually. So the first one is, has the US DOJ decided if the charges will be laid against the propaganda podcasters that took Russian money? I don't know if I know about these people. Do you?
I don't know who it is. I've heard rumors, but I don't know who it is.
Okay. All right. Yeah. So I guess we can answer the question with cards, but I'm not familiar with who those people are. It isn't, you're not talking about Lev Parnas and his accomplice, I don't think. So
well, they weren't podcasters. They were here under different offices.
Yeah, that's true.
Not
different reasons.
Yeah.
So I get protection
to watch
on
money.
this. Yeah.
Excuse me.
I get protection on this, and I'm feeling as though it's very, very possible that they are being protected from and by Putin, because he's already got all these people doing bots and other things. So why not have podcasters as well? I don't know if they're here in the United States or if they're in Russia. So I'm
one of their
guessing maybe
biggest
Putin
propaganda
would be,
arms, Russian TV, is on every
yeah,
American cable network in the country, you know,
Yeah,
that's true.
and online for free.
yeah. I get.
Oh, okay.
I
It's
get
I'm sorry. Yeah,
go ahead. I get the four of swords.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Sorry.
Sorry.
After you, my dear Alphonse. Yeah, I think eventually, yes, they will be. They know who they are. They know where they are, and they will be able to get to them. Right now, it's just a matter of identifying and dealing with the fallout of these things. But yeah,
okay,
they will.
I got the Ace of Swords,
and
so we're just looking for conflict.
Yep.
Anything for conflict.
Yeah. And it all started last time in 2016 when Russia, if you're listening, blah blah blah.
Yes.
Yeah. And if he's been on the phone with Putin X amount of times, that he actually asked somebody that was, maybe it was the Secret Service or whatever at Mar-a-Lago, to leave the room while he was talking to him. And that's treason. Why won't we treat people? It isn't like he's calling up somebody that's, if he called Justin Trudeau, we're not adversaries with Canada. So it's a little bit different than calling this man.
It is.
Okay.
Yeah. And Book said, Canada, the right-wing podcasters, where they were getting hundreds of thousands,
100,000 per week. Yeah.
Yeah. And I remember that their excuse was, well, we didn't know where it came from. Listen.
Oh, BS.
If I get $100,000 dropped into my account from YouTube, you know I'm checking into that. I need to know where it came from, why, blah, 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 blah. So don't tell me you didn't know.
And what do you expect in return if I cash that check?
Yeah. That you're
well,
making
he got,
that,
and Trump didn't Trump get $3 million from the Egyptians or something? We heard about that a little while ago too.
Yes.
Or 30 million. It was a lot of money anyway. So is Canada charged the Canadian podcasters that accepted the money? So there were Canadian podcasters as well?
I guess so. I don't know.
They might have been. I wasn't exactly quite sure where exactly they were located. But yeah, it doesn't matter where they're located. They are their job is to get as much information out there as they can. So are there some located in Canada? I'm sure there is.
Sure.
Will they be charged? I think that this is odd. I get the Six of Wands. This is victory, but it's not really a victory for them. I think this is a victory for the different government agencies that are working together in identifying who these are. So I think, yes, it may not happen quickly, but yes, they will be. Yeah.
Okay.
Eventually. I pulled the Five of Pentacles. And if you look at this particular card, the sucker in the middle is the skeleton. Because this is financial loss. This is worry. This is losing what you've got. So however much money these people got paid, they're going to lose it all in lawyers' fees, if nothing else. I mean, if they're not just give it back.
I get the renewal card. I feel as though this card was saying they renewed their campaign in this group, this time period that they had started in 2016.
Yeah, because they
so the last the last one was have they found the woman that approached them and passed along the information? She has ties to Toronto.
Go figure. Toronto's a lot of things go through Toronto. Have they found the woman who approached them?
That explains the Queen of Wands.
Okay. Yes.
Because I knew there was 3
Yep.
parts of the question, so I drew 3 cards, 1 for each question.
Good.
And this
Yeah.
was the card for the last question. I didn't
That
even know
was
what
the
the question
wow.
was.
Before we even
But I
said
got
it.
the Queen
Okay.
of Wands.
Okay.
So yeah.
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 I get it's the
Wow.
culmination of the culmination of the investigation. You know, we're supposed to get another group of stuff coming out from Jack Smith, a group of
Yes.
papers, and I'm interested to see what that will contain. So maybe it's that. What'd you get, Marina?
I got smoke, and I think that what, where there's smoke, there's fire, right?
Oh yeah.
So I think they might know who she is, and justice never happens as quickly as we would like it to, but it does move forward. Yeah. So we just have to be patient while the people behind the scenes put all their ducks in a row, get everything lined up, so by the time that they're ready to take it to a jury, there can only be one outcome. So
Yep. So one of the podcasters came back after a visit from the FBI in support of the Ukraine, stating he had a new perspective. Well, that's interesting. And Innocent Potato, this is true. Dwight D. Eisenhower did warn us of the military-industrial complex. Yeah.
Yes, he did.
He did. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Wow. Well, thank you to our 3 people for putting up your questions this week.
Yes.
And thank you for sharing your stories, ladies, and of course, the chat as well. And much, much love again to everybody that's in harm's way. We are sending out, Debbie Dement was saying this morning
landfall. It made landfall as a Cat 3.
That it's counterclockwise.
Yeah, hurricanes go counterclockwise. So the
if we want to dissipate,
the northeast quadrant is always the worst because that's the water being sucked in.
If we want to dissipate it, though, we need to envision it turning like a clock, and that helps with the dissipation. So work on that. Yeah, definitely.
Well, it's made landfall complete, and it came in as a Cat 3, so it dropped two levels,
which is
down.
awful.
That's
Still,
it's still a bad hurricane.
Still bad.
At least they weren't hit with 200-mile-per-hour winds.
That's true. That's true. Well, thank you,
predicting.
everybody. Stay safe out there, and much, much love to everybody. And we'll see you next week. We'll have Val back next week. So we'll all be here.
Yes, we will.
Yeah. All right.
All right.
Bye, everybody.
Bye, everybody.
Bye. Yep. Bye.